Okay, ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? Back again with some more YouTube news content here. Well, this is more content related to geopolitics because I was browsing through Reddit when today I came across this post that officially marks 21 years since the Democratic Prime Minister of Serbia, Zoran Dindic, was assassinated. Now, obviously, for those that don't know who Zoran Dindic was, is that, he was one of those politicians who wanted better relationships with the West because, for example, when you look at politically or geopolitically, if you look at a country like Serbia and its president Aleksandar Vucic, now it should be no surprise to everybody that Serbia was always a traditional ally of Russia, because I knew about this since the 9th grade that Serbia and Russia, they were always allies, because Serbia considers Russia to be its ally. And with Zoran Dindic, he basically wanted to kind of steer Serbia in a direction where, the government would have been more open to having better relationships with the West, and just establishing relations with the West, in other words, and all that. And for that, he basically had his life cut short, and that's really sad just because, it seemed like he was one of those good politicians, one of those politicians that actually had a good heart that, wanted to improve, basically relations and all that, and unfortunately because of that, he basically paid for that with his life, very similar to kind of like how I guess you could say Alexei Navalny paid for that with his life, because, when it comes to Alexei Navalny's death, the way how I see it, Alexei Navalny, he was murdered. Okay, I'm gonna just say it right now, Alexei Navalny, I have a feeling he was murdered, and it's just the Russian government is trying to cover up his death. That's what it seems like here, and all that. And obviously, right now, with what's happening in Serbia under the current regime of Aleksandar Vucic, is that, for those of that don't know, there was like that very devastating monastery incident that happened in Kosovo that left one Kosovo police officer dead who was somebody's family member. And recently, the U.S. foreign ambassador to Serbia was caught having dinner with the person who was wanted in connection with the Kosovo incident. Yes, that's right. So I imagine this could have very big geopolitical. This could have a geopolitical impact for Serbia in a way where this could completely delay Serbia's process of joining the European Union, because obviously looking at Serbia, it's still one of those countries together with Bosnia, together with what else? What other country? Albania, with Kosovo, and with North Macedonia, Hungary, Ukraine. Well, not Hungary, I take that back. Ukraine, Turkey, and Georgia, to my knowledge, that still are trying to become members of the European Union and all that. And, when it comes to Aleksandar Vucic, what I will say, though, is that one geopolitical mistake that European leaders are making right now is they haven't sanctioned him, because obviously, Vucic, it seems like he only pretends to care about wanting to condemn Putin for the invasion of Ukraine, because obviously with Aleksandar Vucic, he's one of those presidents, like I said, who's basically trying to play puppet master with the European Union and Russia, meaning he wants to think he thinks he can develop good relations with both the European Union and Russia, even though, let's be honest, in a democracy, it doesn't really work like that, because that's not really the way how a democracy is supposed to work. And basically what Putin has been doing in Russia basically is not a democracy at all. Same with what Vucic is doing. That is not a democracy, because obviously in a functioning democracy, there should be fair elections, because obviously Serbia right now, they are going to be having re-elections after it became revealed that the recent elections in Serbia turned out to be not free and fair. And for that right now, seemed like that Aleksandar Vucic tried to cover it up. He failed, and now Serbia is going to be, I guess, having re-elections, from what I've been reading in the news a lot related to geopolitics and all that stuff. And, all I have to say is if Zoran Dindic was alive right now, then he would definitely condemn the monastery attack that happened in Kosovo, because if you want to know how truly ridiculous Aleksandar Vucic's government is, one of the Serbian politicians who actually went there to pay his respect, to the Kosovo police officer who had his life cut short in the attack, want to know what happened to him? Aleksandar Vucic had him kidnapped and tortured. I'm not even kidding. And it just goes to show you here that what Aleksandar Vucic is doing right now, he's basically trying to become like Vladimir Putin in a way. And it's like, I don't know how come the EU leaders fail to see this, world. And that's really what I'm trying to say here in this video and all that. Because obviously with me having knowledge about geopolitics and especially the former Yugoslavia and the Balkans and all that, I have a feeling here that you know, sooner or later, that say for example that if once that the Ukraine war ends, you know, say, I'm talking about it hypothetically because let's be honest, I don't know when the war is going to end here, but say that it does end here and that Ukraine wins the war. What I imagine this will do here then is Serbia, I guess, so will then eventually recognize Kosovo as an independent country. I don't know, because obviously one of the reasons why Serbia doesn't have good relationships with the neighbors is really because of the actions of the Serbian government, you know, and that's one of the reasons why I think Serbia hasn't had good relationships at all with, why it hasn't had the best relationships with its neighbors, you know, when we look at Balkans and all that. Because a lot of this, you know, comes from the fact that Serbia is still, you know, reluctant to recognize the independence of Kosovo and all that. And with Zoran Dindic, if he was alive, I imagine he definitely would have recognized Kosovo's independence and all that, because, you know, Zoran Dindic, he had good intentions, while it seems like Aleksandar Vucic right now has really bad intentions and all that. And yeah, you know, so yeah, that's pretty much the video here related to geopolitics. Today has officially been 21 years since the Democratic Prime Minister of Serbia, Zoran Dindic, was assassinated by a member of the Zemun clan, apparently, from what I've read in my news and from what I've been doing, from all the research I've been doing, you know, prior to making this video. So if I missed out anything here in this video, just let me know in the comments, and hope to catch you people in another video. Take care.